team competition. Here's Bart Connor and Kathy Johnson.
For 40 years, the athletes who wore the hammer and sickle dominated the sport of gymnastics. 180 gold medals in world and Olympic competition. The Soviet Union was synonymous with gymnastics excellence. They didn't choose their sport, it chose them. Handpicked as children, the most promising left their families behind to serve their country. The youthful athlete, a powerful metaphor for the strength within the Soviet Union. The final chapter of the Soviet story was written in 1992 at the Olympic Games in Barcelona. There they competed as a unified team for the last time, winning gold in the all-around and team competitions. A fitting, yet tearful goodbye. Now, as independent republics, can the dynasty continue, or is the end of an era at hand? Today, they face an explosive women's team led by the most decorated gymnast in U.S. history, reigning world all-around champion, Shannon Miller. She will lead a young and promising squad from the United States into the Goodwill Games. Welcome to the Lenin Sport and Concert Complex here in St. Petersburg for the first of 9 days of gymnastics competition here at the Goodwill Games. Hi everyone, I'm Bart Connor, and we're getting ready today for the women's team competition. Now, in the previous 2 Goodwill Games, the former Soviet Union women have won 11 of 12 available gold medals. They are going to be strong here as well. I'm joined, as always, by Kathy Johnson, and the Americans in this competition are led, of course, by Shannon Miller, the world all-around champion, and an otherwise rather inexperienced team, Kathy.
Having Shannon Miller as part of the U.S. team is certainly an advantage over several of the other teams who are trying to secure medals here. But keep in mind, except for Shannon Miller, this is the biggest meet ever for these kids. They're competing against gymnasts who competed at the World Championships and won medals. That makes Russia and Ukraine the 2 strongest teams here. But I think the U.S. has an excellent shot at a bronze medal, which would be an outstanding result considering the strength of the Russian and Ukrainian teams. But in order to do so, they will have to handle the pressure here and also outcompete Romania and China.
Now, give you an idea just how young these young ladies are. Jenny Thompson for the United States just turned 13 years old yesterday here in St. Petersburg, and the team presented her with a cake and some congratulations. She is the youngest national team member on the senior national team for the U.S. ever. Now, as we said, we're going to be seeing the team competition. There are 6 full teams competing here. There will be 4 gymnasts on each team. The top 3 scores in each individual event will count towards the team total. Now, the gymnasts will be competing on the vault, the uneven bars, the balance beam, and the floor exercise. Ready now for the second vault for Mariana Webster. Same vault as the first one, and a little bit better.
Much better vault, Bart. Much better on the pre-flight. She got on just the right angle. Watch here in the slow motion. Her arms will be straighter on the horse. Right there, she pushes up. Better form in the air, and look at the landing. Oh, a major break right on the mount.
This is Irina Bulakova from the Ukraine, one of our favored teams here. The Ukrainians have given us so many great champions over the past. They look quite strong here. Bulakova, 16 years old. She was 4th in the all-around at this year's European Championships.
They already have a 9.325 to count in the team competition. She is second up for the Ukraine. Oh, no. This is disastrous. Keep in mind they can drop 1 low score. And, of course, this is the one they want to drop.
There's an attempt at a one-handed handstand, but you don't see many of those, and especially when a gymnast is slightly flustered after a fall. They don't like to risk holding them too long, do they?
I was just going to say she's making nervous mistakes now. Here's the dismount pass. 2 back handsprings to a double back. This will not help the chances of the Ukrainian team, which is certainly one of the favorites for a gold or silver medal here.
Getting ready to go on the uneven bars now. This is Yelena Grosheva from Russia. We've been watching this team in the last couple of days in practice, Kathy Johnson, and they are real loose and casual and doing some incredible gymnastics. Do you think they can put it together here?
I would certainly think so. They're certainly well-trained, well-prepared, and looked consistent in the workouts. They were a little nervous in the 30-second warm-up, which is the final touch warm-up just prior to competition.
Obviously, because this competition is being held in Russia, we're getting the best gymnast that Russia has to offer. This young lady was 12th in the all-around at the World Championships in Australia.
Her teammate before her, Fabrichnova, scored a 9.75. So they're off to a good start. Look at the height on this release move. Beautiful combinations of release moves, very aggressive. Double front dismount, difficult to land, but she handles it very well.
Now over on the balance beam, this is Oksana Niznik. She's 17 years old, competes for the Ukraine. Off to a good start.
She's a very elegant gymnast to watch.
National champion last year in the Ukrainian championships.
Here's her most difficult pass. 3 layout step-outs. Well done.
That's a similar pass that you see from Dominique Dawes from the United States, performed perfectly.
You can see her checking her balance just a little here and there. Those are usually caused by nerves, and most of the gymnasts started out a little nervous in this first rotation. And the dismount, a double back. Oh, a step on the landing.
Let's take a look at this dismount pass, Kathy Johnson. We've seen so many great performers out of the Ukraine. She was a little flustered early, and as you said, it's sometimes difficult to start on the balance beam.
It's very difficult to start on the beam. When you've got any kind of nerves, you really have to control that adrenaline. It's hard to do on 4 inches.
Century 20.
ABC's Wide World of Sports presentation of the 1994 Goodwill Games from St. Petersburg, Russia continues. Here is Bart Connor.
Now on the vault, Jenny Thompson from the United States, originally from Wichita Falls, Texas. She's 4 feet 1 and 58 pounds.
Oh, no. I was very nervous for Jenny going into this event. In the 30-second warm-ups, she missed this vault entirely, missed her hand. And it was a little scary, and I'm sure she was nervous going into this one. She got on the horse fine, but couldn't get enough push to get the rotation necessary. She's okay. That kind of vault is certainly not dangerous, but it's a big deduction.
Well, she certainly has time. She is an exciting young gymnast, the youngest senior national team member ever. And let's get to know Jenny Thompson a little bit better. We certainly will over the next few years.
Practicing and perfecting her skills since she was 5, Jenny Thompson, now 13 years old, is beginning to realize her goal of competing at the top level of gymnastics, something her coach always knew she'd do.
As far as Jenny goes, I knew that Jenny had the talent at 6 years old because she was just an amazing talent at that level. She could keep her legs straight and point into everything that she did.
But talent alone isn't enough. In 1992, when her coach, Bella Caroli, retired, Jenny was faced with the difficult prospect of moving away from Houston and most of her family to train with Steve Nuno in Oklahoma.
Well, I don't live with my dad because he couldn't move up here because there wasn't anywhere to work. So I'm not with my brother either. And that's a pretty big sacrifice.
Yet Jenny knows that if she wants to follow in the footsteps of world champion Shannon Miller, with whom she's trained and watched for most of her career, this is one of many sacrifices she must make.
If you want to get anything, you have to work hard at it. Just set your goals and work for them. And I just try to do my best, and I probably push myself the hardest. I think I've already pretty much been successful, but I would like to be more successful in the upcoming years.